So we recently had a flood out here, and if you look very closely, that's not sand, that's dirt. This is also dirt. The water crept up so high that the big pieces of debris accumulated up there. That's like the level of like right here. That's how high the water was. And all these deposits of dirt are all over the place. Is this one, the one I'm on? It's all mud. It's not even dirt. I mean, not even sand. It's literally just mud. That's amazing. That's like 10 feet above the current water level down here. So what you can see is the water line was up this high, and all when it was receding, it like went down and went like this, the big rocks. And then this is not even sand. This is all mud. This up here is sand. This top level here is sand. Down there is just mixture of mud and sand. So this is a closer look of the little, the mound of debris of these big logs. And if you look closely, you can see how the water level down here was straying these to downwards towards the stream. Everything was just being pulled. Like, this was a strong force. Like, it even created crevices when the water was passing by fast. It created currents down here and ate this hole up down here. This is what you can see. These are huge logs. You can just tell the way the water was flowing was like just like this. Mind you guys, this is pretty up high. Look at the striations of the water when it was eating this all up, leaving these logs up here. This is all dirt. Look, like, the water level was so high, it crept up. Look, you can actually tell the water was coming in this way, and then any of this big debris that's being clogged up here ate up some of this dirt. So there's literally mounds of grass embedded deep into this because the water was just so strong. It was just gouging it into these crevices of where these logs are. These are huge logs. The diameter of this big log back here is roughly, wow, this is a really thick log. This has to be at least like 3, 4, 5 feet in diameter. Look at these big chunks. Look at them. They all clogged up here against this tree right here. Wow, this is amazing. Another cool feature of when this water was really running down through here are these big, pretty large boulders down here. I want to say they could weigh roughly 100 pounds, these big ones. And we're pretty up high. Again, we're like 10 feet up high, and you can just tell how the water current was at least roughly like right here. So that would be like right there water level wise, like this line right here. And then I guess it just kept creeping up, and then this was basically underwater up to here. No, up to like here at least. And then these big pieces of rocks were just left here. I mean, they were carried over 10 feet up and then smashed into this little dam this dam of tree logs. The diameter of some of these trees is enormous. Like, it just keeps going back over here. This is literally where a big water dam was, basically. And it's just crazy because you can literally tell by the way the water was creeping up here, because these logs are being pushed against this wall. So the water level must have been no more than like right here, but the force of all these logs were literally pushing it up. So I can imagine the water just splashing up over this, but the water level was only up to here. And that's crazy how you can literally tell how they were pushed up against like a wall. The water current was just so strong, and it starts like roughly like back there, all the way around. This is a huge log. This one's like 6 feet in diameter, all the way down here. And then I'm gonna go back down and just take a good glimpse of it from the ground, just so you guys can see as to how powerful this flipping water was. It's just mesmerizing to me. I do have to get down because I'm very I'm very dizzy up here. So this is not from the angle down here. It's pretty far. It's like 100 meters away. But just look, it's literally a flipping wall. A wall literally creeping from the back here. The water was flowing, flowed up, created this wall of these logs, and just kept flowing over. It's crazy. So now we're kind of in the entranceway of the river. This is walking back up, and you can tell how the water was also, again, here. Just, I mean, this is like over a week ago now, how the water was flowing through here, creating these walls of these logs up here. This is only like 5 feet up, but just look how these smashed up against these two trees here, creating this dam of logs here. Just spectacular. And look at these big boulders that just got trapped there. These boulders up here have to weigh over 200 pounds. These are huge boulders. That one has to weigh roughly like 200-300 pounds. That one has to weigh a couple hundred pounds. These are huge. The strength of this water was just spectacular. And after looking at some of these videos from Great Falls, which is roughly an hour, 2 hours upstream from here, I can only imagine how strong it was up there compared to down here. So kind of didn't notice here on the side of these steps are deposits of dirt. This is not sand. It might be mixed with a little bit of sand, but this is very, very much dirt, like mud almost. Mud and sand. It has a muddy texture. You could tell by the discoloration right here that this is not sand. This is very much just a mixture. It is sand. It's a mixture of dirt and sand, and just how, like, this is a huge mound right here. And it got stuck here because the water was just pushing it in. Another good example of these crevices creating when the water was flowing, and then found a little crevice. It started like rotating in there and just gouging in here. When the water settled, some of this dirt fell in here, and you could tell how this dirt was deposited here after this little hole here was made. And if you dig this up, you could probably tell how the water was eating this up. And then when the water was receding, this sand was left here. But look, it's crazy how strong this water must have had to been. Another good example, look, the water was flowing in through here, strong. This is sand. This is actually sand, and this is probably deposited afterwards. How the water, when it was rushing in, flowed here, and of course, since this log is here, it's rotating. Since this log is here, and just ate this up a whole. And not a lot of dirt fell in here because there's a barrier, of course. So this hole was left here. That's how these holes would look if this deposit afterwards was not left. You would see these big gouges of holes like this. That's crazy. This is the little shallow part that I was talking about. You can see that the water was also creeping up here because you can see some of the debris was on the fence here. And just look, it's been a week or two since the storm. You can still see the striations in the grass of how the water was moving. So yeah, that's just me nerding out. Yeah, you can see, look. Just absolutely insane how high this water was. The water's down there. This is at least a good... ¿De cuántos pies para aquí arriba, para allá? Donde está el agua ahorita, como unos... Oh yeah, look, there's a big cliff here. This has to be at least like 10 feet this water rose. 10 feet, that's crazy. From here, this is a big cliff to down there. Just feel the water. And this is the little mound of dirt that I was talking about earlier. These deposits of dirt. Oh, and there's a turtle over there. I don't know if you can see it, but right there.